Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're zeroing in on Florida, specifically where it stands in late 2025. And the source material paints this. Well, it's this incredible contrast. We're calling it the Florida paradox.
Right.
You have this state with a massive $1.76 trillion gross state product. I mean, for context, that's larger than the entire economy of Mexico.
Staggering. And yet all of that dynamism is built on, frankly, one of the most fragile environmental foundations in the country.
Exactly. So that's the core tension, right? How does a place boom while it's also, battling for its own long-term survival?
That's our mission today. We're going to unpack that demographic engine that's driving everything, but also look at the structural vulnerabilities that threaten it all.
Okay, let's start with that engine room. The sources are really clear that Florida's population growth is almost entirely exogenous.
Which is just a fancy way of saying it's not about birth rates.
No, it's people moving in, full
Yeah.
stop. And we're seeing this huge acceleration of what sources call wealth migration.
It's a strategic retreat, really. You have high net worth individuals just pouring in from the Northeast, the Midwest, pulled by that zero state income tax.
A huge draw.
A huge draw. And at the same time, you have this constant critical flow of international migration that keeps industries like construction and hospitality staffed.
What's really interesting, though, is how the state is using that energy to diversify, to, hedge its bets against just tourism.
Absolutely. Two huge pillars are emerging. First, aerospace.
The Space Coast?
It's just exploding. In 2024, Florida hosted 93 launches. That's almost one every 4 days.
Wow.
It accounts for 36% of all global launch activity. You've got billions in private money from companies like Blue Origin flooding in.
And the other pillar is Wall Street South. Is this real, or is it just a few boutique firms?
Oh, it's real. Major players are anchoring there. Miami, West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
They've become serious magnets for hedge funds, private equity. That tax arbitrage is working. The data absolutely bears that out.
Okay, so you have this supercharged engine, but it needs a political framework. And that's where the sources point to a potential Achilles heel.
Right. Florida has a consolidated Republican trifecta, governor, Senate, House. Governance is incredibly efficient.
But that efficiency creates this massive tension between the state and local governments.
It absolutely does. And the sources point to one specific law, Senate Bill 180, the Emergencies Bill.
And what does that do?
Well, it prohibits local governments from passing land use rules that are more restrictive than whatever was in place before a hurricane.
Oh, wait. If a storm reveals a new flood zone, the local city can't prevent people from building there again.
State law overrides them. It prioritizes rebuilding fast, overbuilding for, long-term resilience.
So this efficient political machine is on a direct collision course with the state's actual physical risks. And you see that playing out in the insurance market.
You do. The market is a bit more stable now, but the cost is immense. Premiums are among the highest in the U.S., averaging over $5,300.
That's crippling for a lot of people. It just raises the cost of living floor for everyone.
For everyone. And then there's the environmental threat, the red tide, Carina brevis. It's not just an ecological issue anymore.
It's a public health crisis now.
A documented one. We have research now that directly links severe red tide blooms to spikes in hospital admissions for respiratory and GI illnesses.
And that's before we even get to the ground itself. The fact that the state sits on porous limestone.
Which means sinkholes, and it also means salt water can just race into the Floridan aquifer, contaminating freshwater wells.
So what does this all mean for you trying to make sense of Florida's future? The state is investing huge sums. The $865 million Howard Franklin Bridge, the Brightline expansion, they're building for a massive future.
They are, but it's all based on this fragile truce with nature.
So what's the final thought here?
The state is making a massive collective wager. It's a bet that engineering, all the pumps, the seawalls, the grants, can keep pace with relentless environmental change. With sea level rise, the real question for you to mull over for the next decade is whether that wager is a good one, especially when you think about long-term property values right on the coast.